And Mr. Speaker, I want to say this. For the people's business to be properly addressed in the House, it is a requirement that the representatives elected by them come to the House to do their business. That is fundamental. Question time by the opposition and other members of parliament who are not members of the cabinet is one of the most important parliamentary mechanisms to hold the executive, to hold the government to account. I hear that on the talk show, they want to meet us to discuss chikungunya and Ebola. Though they have said that they not cooperating with the government and anything. They changed their tongue on that. Why don't they have questions on the order paper? On chikungunya, on Ebola? When I realized, Mr. Speaker, that they were not going to ask any questions, when I saw the order paper, the cabinet requested the Minister of Health to prepare a ministerial statement on chikungunya. And they requested of me, in view of the fact that I had gone to Cuba at the summit, the Alba Summit, meaning the heads of government and heads of state, that I should make the statement on Ebola. There are all these questions to be asked, but they are not here asking any of them. And I want the public to know this, Mr. Speaker. Under the rules, each member of the opposition can ask 3 questions for oral answers, which means of the 7 elected representatives and the 2 senators, that's 9. 3 questions for each of them. 7 representatives and 2 senators. That's 9 of them. That's 27 questions. And Mr. Speaker, in the case of each of them, they can also ask a supplementary, so long as it is appropriate. Therefore, that's 27 and another 27, that's 54. But they have to be here to ask a supplementary. And in addition, the standing orders say that they can ask each of them 4 questions, 4 written answers. So 27 for oral answers and 36 for written. You want to tell me that with all the issues which they have mentioned here, among others, they can't find anything to come to Parliament to ask the 27 plus the 36, and then, if the circumstances arise, to ask the 27 supplementaries? Mr. Speaker, that is the way you hold the executive to account. But you're not doing the job for which you're elected, and you're hoping that people will promote you to a higher job. No. When you don't do your job for which you're elected, you do not normally get promoted, you get fired. And Mr. Speaker, I want, as someone devoted and committed to parliamentary democracy and to justice and freedom in this land, and as someone who believes in a committed and passionate sense in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and our people, it is my duty, therefore, to announce that if the opposition wouldn't come here to ask me any questions, or ask the executive any question, I will, as far as my official duties are concerned, not as in my political sense, I will host a weekly radio program of about an hour and a half. I'll make the arrangements through the state-owned radio station and see how we can get it covered by other stations too. On a particular day, selected at a particular time, so that the citizens of this country who are being not represented by the opposition, who are let down by them, that they can write to me, and they will put on the envelope or drop it off at the office, question for the Prime Minister, and under the heading, Ask Prime Minister. That is what I'll call the program. Ask the Prime Minister. And then you can call in also and ask. Naturally, we must try and avoid scurrility so that we can keep the program at a level as we would expect when parliamentary questions are asked. Mr. Speaker, I will also go further and ask the Minister of Telecommunications to get and work with his officials and my Cabinet Secretary to set up the requisite account for questions to be sent by email to ask Prime Minister. And then I will go on. Naturally, I'll get a lot of questions which would probably be more than what I could answer at any one time in an hour or in an hour and a half. And when I get the questions, I will submit them to those which are written to the public servants in the same manner in which when they ask me questions, I submit to the public servants to get the information. So since the opposition is not here to do its duty, I am asking the people to assume that duty and to ask the Prime Minister. They must stop this tomfoolery with the Parliament of this country and the people's business. Mr. Speaker, I do understand the import which you mentioned about Standing Order 74-1 of the Standing Orders, which reads, any member who is prevented from attending a meeting of the House shall acquaint the clerk as early as possible of his inability to attend. Well, the jury would be out among the public, and this is for the Speaker. If the submission today is early, or if they're prevented from attending, they have chosen not to attend. So, Mr. Speaker, questions arise. I'm obliged.